Hi, and welcome to the channel. I'm Robin.
And I'm Troy.
And?
What are you going to do if there's ever some kind of life-threatening emergency while you're at seas?
Well, we aren't personally having to deal with that, but we are on the Harmony of the Seas, and unfortunately, somebody else did have to deal with that, which raised a lot of questions for us as we get more into full-time travel. So we wanted to tell you all about how their emergency impacted us and the rest of the guests on here.
And everybody on the cruise.
That's right. Everybody kind of had to deal with it, but unfortunately for a family, this was their reality, and it could be yours if you start traveling more. So let's talk about it. So as we get into more travel, we are finding that a lot of stuff can happen that we aren't anticipating. Recently, we got trapped at an airport, had to spend the night.
Yeah.
We also had a situation where we had 5 days of an evacuation order while we were in California, and possibly had to evacuate with 5 cats. And now we're here on the Harmony of the Seas, and something interesting happened on our day that we were supposed to be our last sea day before we were heading home. So go ahead, why don't you tell them about it?
Go ahead.
Okay, so we're on Harmony of the Seas, 7-night from Galveston, returning to Galveston, pretty easy peasy, should have been pretty simple. Yesterday was our last sea day. On Saturday, we were supposed to be landing back in Galveston this morning at 8:30, and we did not do that. Now, mostly because Friday, as we were leaving port, which was Cozumel, and we all went to bed, at least most of us went to bed. And the next morning we got up to an announcement by the captain that we were going to have a delay because in the middle of the night they had to turn around and go back to Cozumel. None of us anticipated that,
and none of us knew it. I mean, I didn't know it till the next morning when you told me.
He didn't even hear the announcement. I heard the announcement getting my coffee, and then I told him about it, and he's like, I didn't hear anything. So it's very important to hear your announcements. Whenever the ship is talking, whether it's your cruise director or your captain, but understand if your captain gets on the intercom, it's probably a little bit more important, and it's something that you probably need to listen to. So why don't you tell them about what happened?
Well, I mean, when I got information the next morning, I started talking to a few people here on the ship, one of which told me at 3:30 in the morning, he realized that the ship wasn't moving. So he looked out his window and saw that we were in fact at dock. There was land and ambulance lights and that kind of thing going on outside the ship. So that was his first clue. I didn't get mine until, like I say, the next morning when she let me know what happened.
Right, and all the captain basically said was that overnight there was a medical emergency and that they had to make the decision to turn around and go back to Cozumel for this emergency, for this life-threatening emergency for one of the guests. Now, we really didn't get much information past that. We've had conflicting information as to whether it was 3:30 or 5:30, whether the person could have gotten off on a helicopter as opposed to turning the ship around. The captain did say that he explored all options, and that was the one that he went with, and that he hoped that everybody would understand that he would do that for any passenger. But that did mean that instead of getting back to Galveston at 8:30 in the morning on Sunday morning, we weren't projected to get back till 4:30 Sunday afternoon. Now, that impacted a lot of people with their flights, and also the people that needed to get back on this ship for the beginning of their cruise on Sunday. And so it was very different.
It's going to affect at least 12,000 something passengers. It's going to
between our cruise and their cruise.
6,000 getting off. It's going to affect a lot of people. So you got flight plans that are interrupted. You got travel plans. People that were driving, even those folks are going to have to start their drive from 4:30 or 6 o'clock in the afternoon and instead of 8:30 or 10 o'clock in the morning. So it's a huge difference in travel time. And there's Monday. People got to go to work. Some people going to be calling in. Some people going to be calling in.
It really is interesting because the other thing is, traditionally, whenever you get off a cruise ship, you're getting off in the morning, and then the other people are coming on a few hours later. Well, fortunately, thank you, Maureen, we actually park at a friend's house rather than having to park at the cruise parking lots, which is what we have done until recently. But the thing is that if you don't think about this, well, we're getting back after a lot of these people are still coming in, and some of these people may not have even gotten the email, they may not have checked it, they may not have realized it till they got to the port that their ship was not there. It's like you come up to port and your ship is not there.
It's like your plane not being there at
right.
the airport.
And but the thing is that those people that were going to park at the parking lots the morning people should have already been gone. The parking lots are still going to be full, so the people that had reservations to even park at the parking lots now don't have a place to park because
Right.
those of us on the ship that did park there, we're not there to move our cars. So it starts this
Huge
domino effect
right? Huge dominoes.
of not knowing what to do and how it's going to affect people. And then a couple things that we did want to talk about. We're going to try to make this a short video,
Right.
but it's definitely a cautionary tale as we've been coming into more things, is that understand, as inconvenient as it is for us, which is very little,
Right.
fortunately,
For us.
it's more inconvenient for other people. But you weren't the family impacted by this medical emergency. You weren't the person that was trying to get to medical attention to possibly save your life. Now, we don't know what happened to this person.
We heard stroke. We heard stroke. We don't know
We don't
how they're
know,
doing.
you know, game of telephone, story changes. We
Right.
don't know where this information is coming from. So we're trying not to speak on the actual whatever happened. But the bottom line is this happened to someone, and this is happening to someone's family. They may have survived. They may not have. We'll probably never know. And frankly, it's none of our business.
Right.
But the thing is that you've got to understand, just like whenever you drive by an accident on the freeway, you're not the person in the accident. So as messed up as you think your day is by
Theirs
the
is worse.
inconvenience,
There's much worse.
theirs is much worse.
They got family
And
to deal with. Families dealing with information and gathering stuff. The crazy part about this is that we talked about just a little while ago was how many people are complaining about their inconvenience. And it's just a little bit different. You got to have some compassion in this kind of situation, because if it were you or one of your loved ones, what would you want the captain? What kind of decision would you want the captain to make?
Right.
He did have the option of continuing on and going to Houston, which would have taken another 24
Day and a
hours,
half,
a day and a
yeah.
half, which wasn't an option for the person. They could have possibly been life lighted off the helicopter, which happens a lot of times in emergency situations where they
And
got
we heard-
medical attention.
we heard mixed things
Right.
about whether or not that could or couldn't have happened. So we're not going to speak
And
into
what
that.
decision would you make as a person? What would you make? What would be your choice? Would it be to potentially go back to on the ship and go back with your loved one, or take a helicopter ride that you possibly couldn't get your people on and just they be by themselves without anybody being there? So it's a conflicting situation with everybody here on the ship. So people feel this way, people feel that way, and it's just weird. Even we felt a little slightly different about it. What it's going to cost the cruise line in time, inconvenience, potential reimbursements, airline delays, and so many different things. Some people are going to have to get hotels overnight and
figure it out.
figure it out.
That's the thing. It's like you have to understand that the more you travel, whether it's one time a year or 10 or 100,
20, yeah.
it doesn't matter what it is. Things like this can come up. They can happen to you. They can happen to others. But you need to feel compassion for the fact that at least it's not happening to you, and whatever they're going through is much worse than whatever delays you're having to deal with or reorganization of your travel plans once you're back. And the importance of travel insurance.
Right.
We were never one to really get travel insurance when we just randomly did a few little trips here and there. But honestly, I'm seeing the importance of
Right.
it. We have an annual plan that we really believe is the right decision for us with as much as we travel. So that way we don't have to worry about individual travel insurance for each individual trip.
Right.
It protects us once we're so far away from home. It protects us, and that way we don't have to worry about
Right.
it. And we're not financially devastated if something happens to us where we need that lifeline or we need something else that's really going to impact us financially. So
Right.
just like I said, a short little video.
Right.
Remember compassion, people. Think about if this happened to you, how would you want other people to handle it? The world does not revolve around you and your travel plans.
It seems like it does, but it doesn't.
It doesn't. It doesn't.
Nor ours.
No, absolutely not. And so you got to feel compassion for other people. Don't be just bitching about how something impacted you, and understand that that life is short, and it's just not worth being ugly to other people that are in a much worse situation
Right.
than you are.
Right.
And really consider travel insurance, not just for the individual activities that you're doing, because if you only do it sometimes, you're not covering yourself completely. And if you do it all the time, you might just be willing to invest into an annual
Right,
policy
right,
like we
yeah,
did.
yeah.
And just to let you know, we don't make anything. We're going to put a link in the description below as far as who we have There's several companies out there that you can get annual policies with. There's different levels of annual policies. This is not an affiliate link in that we get a referral or something, because we're not set up to get travel insurance.
It's just us letting you know that this is an option for you, and it's a viable and intelligent option a lot of times.
And ours is only $560 per year currently. And we just recently had to make a claim over it whenever we got trapped at the airport and spent the night at the airport. They paid my claim in less than 24 hours.
Yeah.
No questions asked. I uploaded documentation on our original flight, on the delay, and the receipt for what it cost us to stay at the airport in the Minute Suites for the 8-hour time period that we slept at the airport. And it was a really, really great, easy experience. So consider travel insurance. But even if you don't have travel insurance, just consider other people's thoughts and feelings whenever an emergency happens, and that
because they're going to happen. When you got this many people, it's inevitably at some point something's going to happen. It just is what it is.
In the grand scheme of things, you're really not inconvenienced that much. Just because you got to port 8 hours later, we get 8 hours more on the ship.
Yeah, we got to suffer through and eat some more and
play some more and have some more fun. But like I said, it could just be so much worse for you if you're on that side of it. And so just have compassion for other people and don't be a jerk about it. So that was pretty
more
legit.
Importantly,
subscribe.
Like and subscribe, because we're growing it, slowly growing it. We want to grow it quickly, so please like and subscribe.
Yeah, definitely. So we're going to be doing some more videos about this trip, and because we did get off the Jewel of the Seas and went back on the very next day to Harmony of the Seas.
Right.
So this is just a little clip out there because of what happened, but we're going to do more videos in regards to these two little trips and these comparisons between the ships. So stay tuned for those. Thank you very much. We appreciate your support, and until next time.
Those.
Bye.
It's time for pickleball, man.
Okay.